Listen, the more you learn, the more you earn. Welcome back to another YouTube video. My name is Shabali Freeman. Today, I want to get on here and talk to you guys about how to dominate algebra this upcoming fall 2025. All right. And you might be asking yourself, well, how do we do that? How do we get good at algebra? How do we go into algebra this fall and get an A and just completely dominate it? This is how you're going to dominate algebra. All right. This is over 500 flashcards of anything that you can think about in algebra, from linear equations to inequalities, polynomials, roots and radicals, matrices. Anything that you can think of is on these flashcards. I have over 500 flashcards. You can see they all got stuff on them. Okay. And I went over these flashcards every single day for months. Every single day. It took me months to write all these flashcards. Now, I want to start by saying talk about how did I make these flashcards. So, when I was studying for my ACT, I wanted to skip out on some of the prerequisites that they were going to have me take transferring over to University of New Mexico. And I was trying to take the ACT to bypass some of those prerequisites, and you need to get a certain score. So I studied for that ACT for an entire year. And a part of that studying, I took an online math course. I paid $50 a month for that until I completed it on Coursera. And on top of that, when I took notes, on top of that, I also went on Amazon and got 2 algebra notebooks that I worked out of every single day. I even graded myself. And throughout that math course, my notes and those math notebooks that I brought, I took certain questions from those from the courses and the math book and everything. I took certain questions from there and I jotted them on these flashcards. And I took questions from every single algebra concept you can think of, everything. And I put it all on these flashcards. And after that, I went over these flashcards every single day for months just to keep it ingrained in my head. Now, you might be thinking that this is really, really extreme, and it is. This is definitely an extreme way to learn, but due to this, I dominated algebra. I took intermediate algebra last semester, completely blew through that class. I really didn't have to put a lot of effort in because this was ingrained in my long-term memory. And a lot of times, I hear a lot of students talk about algebra being hard, and they say things like, man, I just can't grasp it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And it's because they're not doing this, right? You know, one thing you have to comprehend about the learning process when it comes to academics is that you're not going to read something one time, watch something one time, learn something new for the first time, and think after that first time you're going to get it, right? You have to keep going round and round with that concept until you get it. And even when you got it, you have to find ways to practice it to keep it ingrained in your long-term memory. Kind of like listening to music, right? When you hear a song for the first time, you don't know the words, right? But after you listen to that song over and over and over and over again, eventually it's in your long-term memory. I can go back to songs that I haven't listened to in months, years, and I still know the words because of the repetition of listening to that song over and over and over again, right? And it's the same thing that you have to do with algebra. Algebra is just one of those classes that you have to have the repetition. And a lot of students don't do that. They go to class, they might do the homework, but that's it, right? They're not really giving themselves practice questions, 20 practice questions on this concept, 30 practice questions on this concept to really get it in their long-term memory. Even when I wrote these flashcards, for example, linear equations, I gave myself I got like 20 linear equation problems in this just with different scenarios, right? Because you might learn linear equations and they might just give you a straight up basic equation, but then on a test, they might give you one with a fraction in it, right? So I gave myself every different scenario just in case. That way, whatever pops up on the exam, whatever popped up on a test, I was prepared for it. There was nothing new that you can throw at me to throw me off. And that's what it takes. Now, I'm not saying that everybody has to do this. This is definitely extreme, but you have to be honest with yourself and know what kind of student you are. I know that I don't have the intellectual capacity to process information extremely fast. I know that when I'm learning concepts, it takes me a while. It takes me a while to get it. And I have to put myself through things like this to really make sure that I know the information and that it's in my long term memory. I know that that's what I have to do. Now, luckily for me, even though I don't have the intellectual capacity, I do have tenacity. I'm very tenacious. So I have the ability to put myself through this without quitting, without giving up, without getting frustrated. You know, if I have to go through this to learn something, that's just what I'm going to do. And that's just how I am. You got to know what kind of student you are. If you're not a student that doesn't have the intellectual capacity, then you might have to put yourself through that. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's fine, but you have to be honest with yourself so that you know that this is the process that you have to go through. You know, this is extreme. Everybody don't have to do it. Some people, they don't have to study like that. You know, they can study for an hour, get the concept, and that's all they got to do. But know who you are. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the biggest thing, you know, when it comes to going through the academic journey is just figuring out what kind of student you are. That way you know how to study and how to be successful. But this is a way I feel like you can dominate algebra this upcoming semester. If you do this, if you put in the repetition and do this and practice and study like this, I guarantee you, you'll get an A in algebra. Algebra will be a piece of cake. But if you don't do this, if you think showing up to class once or twice a week and just doing the homework is going to prepare you to take the exams and stuff like that, then you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. You probably get a C at best if you try really hard. Or worst case scenario, you'll fail the class. So this is how you dominate algebra. This is what I did to dominate algebra, and it really works for me. I guarantee you, if you do it, you'll do the same. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you on the next clip.